So, rule number one, observe yourself. It's okay if you listen to this information or you start to read about this and you start to pick up on some of it in yourself as the parent. That's okay. A lot of people start with this information and they look at their own childhood because it's easier to look at yourself from the victim standpoint of, oh my God, my parents were this way. They did this to me. No wonder I never felt good enough as a child. No wonder I felt discarded and like I had to people please and all this. That's great. If you can start to have awareness around when you were a child and how it happened to you, that's great. But where the magic really, really comes in is, can you recognize it in yourself as the parent now? Can you start to pick up on when you're getting anxious about something your kid is doing and you want to go control them? You see them and you're like, oh God, and you want to run over and impose and start to influence and control them. Just stop and ask yourself, why am I doing this? Is this genuinely coming from a place of love? Like, my kid is going to fall in the pool if I don't intervene and they're going to drown and I want to save them. Okay, that's one thing. Or is it coming from a place of insecurity where you're like, wait a minute, actually, what my kid is doing right now, there's nothing objectively wrong with that. It's fundamentally okay, but I'm feeling insecure because of something with unresolved within myself, something that I need to work on, that I'm embarrassed that my kid is going to reflect back on me badly. So just ask yourself, just question yourself. Another great tip that I learned for parents is like, um, when your child is emotional, when your child is upset, allowing them to have those emotions. Because a lot of
Mhm.
times with narcissistic parents, they never learned how to regulate their own emotions. Their parents taught them to suppress their emotions. So now when their own child gets emotional, they start to get very uncomfortable. And the kid will be crying or yelling and they'll say, stop, stop, stop. It's like they don't want the kid to stop per se because they genuinely want the kid to feel better, which the only way to actually feel better is to get through that crying match or whatever they're in. They are actually wanting the kid to stop because they feel uncomfortable, because the parent is not in touch with their own healthy emotions. They don't know what to do with anger. They don't know what to do with sadness. That's why a lot of these parents drink. That's why people become alcoholics, or any addiction really. But what it comes down to is that children are our teachers. Children are more in touch with their emotions than we are as the adults, because in society, us as adults, we've been so programmed to suppress our
Mm.
emotions. Emotions make us very uncomfortable. The child is not uncomfortable with their emotions at all. Children authentically feel things in real time as they come up. The child falls, scrapes their knee on the sidewalk, and cries. There's no repression. They just authentically feel. And that is actually how we're meant to live as human beings. We're meant to feel the emotions as soon as they come up. So children actually get deprogrammed. It's very sad. Children come into this world completely in touch with their emotions. And us as the parents, we could actually learn from them with how in touch they are with their emotions. The problem is the parents start to program them over time to not feel safe with those emotions. Hey, stop crying, or hey, why are you
Mm.
upset about this? You shouldn't be upset. You shouldn't be sad right now. What are you sad about? There's nothing to be sad about. Don't be sad. And the parent can't see that what they're doing is they're actually projecting onto the kid that they don't feel comfortable being sad. There's nothing wrong with a child being sad. You need to allow your kid a safe space to move through those emotions if you truly want them to grow up and be a self-regulating, healthy adult. Um, so, that is it in a nutshell. And then it also comes down to what I had mentioned, Wanda, about the relationship with the spouse. That is what your kids are going to model after and mirror after. So just be very conscious of your relationship with your spouse. Don't stay in a marriage if you know it's not right, just because you think, oh, I'm staying married for my kids. I want to stay married. I can't get a divorce because I have kids. So, I get it. Divorce sucks for children, but if it's truly a toxic marriage that can't be resolved and you're just going to be modeling for them a very poor example of marriage, you need to get a divorce. A divorce actually is what's better for the child in that situation. So just be very mindful of what you're modeling for them. Communicate with your children, be honest with them. Don't be shameless